What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Finally, we are going to get these Bushwhacker Fender Flares installed on the truck. As you can see behind me, these ones here are the old Fender Flares that I have on, and they still look good. There's nothing wrong with these Fender Flares. I think what happened was when I originally got them painted, the person I had painting them actually baked them a little too fast. And I think what happened was when the paint dried, it kind of warped them a little bit. And as you can see right here, there's just a little gap that's kind of started over the past, couple years or so. So it's one of those things where, it still works against the truck. Like if you would just drill out these rivets here, these fake rivets, and actually drill them into your fender, you could close that gap very easily. I just didn't want to start drilling holes through the truck at this stage because it's still fairly new, and I just didn't want to start putting extra holes in the truck where it could potentially rust down the roads. So what we're going to do today is we are going to put on the new Bushwhackers. I was going to go with these with the matte black finish, which is just basically how they come from the factory. And then when I put them up to the truck, it was a rainy day. I'll post a picture right now. But as you can see from the picture, they just don't look quite as good as the painted ones that are currently on the truck. So basically what that means is I decided to have these Bushwhackers custom painted. That's why this video is taking a little longer, because I had to send them out, and it's been just very rainy and moist and damp around where I live. It just wasn't a good time for me to try to attempt painting them on my own. So I took them to my buddy's shop. He hooked me up with a really good deal. It's a controlled environment. It was dry. Everything worked out good. They're custom painted really, really well. They look really good. The finish on them looks fantastic. So it was kind of worth it for me to do that. So what we're gonna have to do first, though, before we start getting these installed on the truck, is actually get them prepared. So what comes in the kit is gonna be a bag of the install bolts, and there actually is a clip in here. I'll explain that in a minute, but there's the bolts that mount them. Here's all the basically fake rivets that are gonna go in each one of these holes to give it that look. And here's all the weather stripping that I'll have to put on and have them cut. And then we'll get them put into, and then we'll just get them installed. So we'll see where we go from there. So stay tuned and we'll start getting these things prepared. Okay, we're back. So the first thing we're gonna wanna do is we're actually gonna start with the rivet bolts here. You're gonna basically take a bolt, put a washer on it, slide it through the top of this, like so, and then you're gonna take one of your nuts here from behind and tighten each one up. So we're gonna go ahead and get that going, and we're gonna do that right now. Okay, next what we're gonna do is the actual weather stripping. This part's a little bit more tedious, but basically what you have to do is you can kind of see how, see if I can get this focused, how that actually looks. It has like a different channel to it. This is the rear part of the fender, okay? You wanna angle it so that when you peel off the first couple inches of the red sticky tape, peel that back and start on the inner edge. So that basically the sticky part sticks to the inside of your flare. That way when it's stuck, you're left with basically something like that with a rubber lip on the outside. So we're gonna get that installed now. Also, I forgot to mention too, and when you are putting the weather stripping at any corner like that, you basically just wanna notch out like a little cut in there so that when it bends, it'll actually bend around the corner. So it does say that in the instructions as well. All right, so let's get this started. Okay, so this is basically what you're doing. You're just gonna attach it and then stick it. Don't rip all the red stripping off. Just do a few inches at a time and then just keep sticking it around the edge. You're only putting the stripping on the edge that basically is touching the truck, which is primarily the top, all the way around down to the front. So let me get this finished up and we'll come back. We got the weather stripping on the first one. Now I will say this, the weather stripping is a pain in the butt. what you need to do, just to kind of help you guys out, there's like a little channel. Let me see if I can get a piece of strip over here and I'll show you. Okay, you see how there's like a little gap in there? Let me see if I can, okay, you see there's that gap in there? You don't have to completely seat that gap over top of the edge like that. You basically just want the outside edge to line up with the outside edge. That'll make sure it sticks, because if you try to like seat it on there and clamp it on there, it's gonna keep unraveling. So you just want it to seat on the outer edge, because once you press it into place, it'll kind of push over and create a good suction. So just wanted to point that out. So as you're looking here, you just want the outer edge of that to line up with the outer edge. That way it gets a good adhesive on the inside, and then you'll be good to go. So let's continue. Okay, I just got the old Fender Flare off, and as you can see, there's a little bit of dirt and grime behind the old ones. So what I'm recommending, if you are going to be adjusting your Fender Flares, replacing them, whatever the case may be, when you take the old ones off, go in there and clean that up a little bit. I like to start off with something like this, maybe like a quick detailer. It just basically cleans that off real good, cleans up all the dirt and grime, and then I'll use some type of wax or some type of spray on quick wax just to kind of protect the paint a little bit better. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay. Next thing we're gonna do is we're going to install the actual tab. So there's gonna be a little, kind of like a protectant pad that you stick on here, and then you have a metal clip, like so. What you're gonna do is you're gonna find the underneath portion here, which I believe is this hole here. So like there's a regular hole and then this big oval hole. You're gonna take a piece of that adhesive and you're gonna clip it over top of that, and then you're gonna take that metal clip from behind and clip it over top. That'll designate your set hole. So we're gonna go ahead and do that now. So what you're doing is you're just gonna take that tab, that sticky tab, clip it over, and then you're gonna take your set tab here and clip it in from the back. Like so. So that's all you're doing. So the sticky tab is basically just sort of protecting the lip, the metal part of your clip here. And then the metal clip goes right over top of that, and that'll start your set hole, okay? Okay, so the first thing you wanna do is, when you put the new Fender Flare on, okay, remember that set hole that we stuck up there originally with the clip? You wanna line up your Fender Flare so that the inside hole is on there. Now it's gonna be a little tight, so you're gonna have to put a little bit of pressure on the front to get that first screw lined up, but that's your set screw. Once you get that set in place, just tighten it a little bit. Don't tighten it all the way. Just tighten it enough to where it'll hold it on the actual vehicle. Then what you want to do is just kind of go through and just do a little bit of, maneuvering around to get your seal, your rubber gasket seal, to line up. You see how like this one's bending a little bit inside? I just got to do a little bit of wiggling to the flare, because remember, these screws are not all set inside underneath. So you have a little bit of wiggle room to kind of wiggle that into place. Once you get that seal right where it needs to be, you see it creates a nice seal all the way down. Once all that's lined up, then you can start putting the rest of your set screws in underneath and tighten it up. So we're gonna go do that now. Okay, we're back. We got them installed. Well, at least we got the first one installed. I just wanted to show you how nice and tight that is to the truck now. So everything's on. No wiggling, it's very secure. These fit very nice. As you can see, I'm kind of pulling on them. They don't move. The weather stripping is nice in place. Everything's nice and tight. So you can see here. So it looks real nice. And then as soon as I get the other ones installed, I'll show you how they look on the truck. But these are the Max Coverage Bushwhacker Fender Flares. Okay guys, we are done. We got the Fender Flares in. They're looking good. Nice and streamlined. No gaps. side here. Nice and tight. Again, this is what I'm looking for. Something where there's no gaps and it's nice and tight. So, okay guys, final thoughts. If you are running wide tires like these are actually 40-inch tall by 15.5 wide. If you're running wide tires like this and you want to try to eliminate some of the extension of the tire sticking out past the wheel well, I would definitely recommend the Bushwhacker Max Coverage pocket style fender flares. They are going to help reduce some of that look of the tires sticking out too far. So for example, in Pennsylvania here, they have some pretty strict laws of tires sticking out too far past the fender flares. So these right here will definitely help reduce that gap so that they're not quite as noticeable. Okay guys, that's it. If you have any questions, leave a comment. I would appreciate it if you would like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what else you'd like to see, and we'll go from there. Later.